It's Judy on the radio, building dreams and achieving more, telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, good morning and welcome to another hour with Real Talk with Judy. I am Dr. Judy, a Real Talk host. Thank you for being with me today, Tuesday, June 15, 2021, right here at your favorite radio station, Hallelujah, 95.3 FM. And if you're on Facebook Live, Instagram, and YouTube, and the radio, I want to thank you so very much for joining me. But I'd like for you to do me a quick favor. Take a few seconds. And if you're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, go ahead and share this with your audience. Go ahead and share it right now. Show some hearts and also tag people to come on. I promise you, we need to hear what's going to be shared on today. If you're on the radio, at your desk, or wherever you are, go ahead and email, text, call, contact your family and friends, and let them know that Dr. Judy talking about real issues with real people, real conversation, and useful information. Just keeping it real with Dr. Judy is on the air right now, and they have need to get on here as soon as possible. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I invite you to do so right now. So subscribe right now with the Real Talk with Judy live radio show. If you have not yet liked my Facebook page, take a few minutes and do so. You got it right now. That's Real Talk with Judy. I want to say hello to my mother, Mother Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley. She is the reason I am who I am. Thank you, Mama, for doing a good job. And to my awesome and amazing husband, Superintendent Gerald Mandrell, he is the reason I get to do what I do. And to my amazing team who helped me to deliver an award-winning show every Tuesday, I want to thank you all so very much. And of course, to the greatest audience ever, you. Thank you for tuning in every Tuesday. And you are the greatest audience anywhere. So thank you. Go ahead, tag, and share this show right now. And to Angus and Cynthia Holden, my sister and brother out there in Scotland, I want to thank you all so very much for being my UK PR director. Thank you all so very much for being on. It is absolutely fantastic. To those business owners who are investing in the Real Talk with Judy show, whose name has been scrolled at the bottom of the screen, thank you all so very much for being partners with me, investing in the partnership. So I get to bring so many different people on, and I also get to go out in the community and do what I do. If you have not yet become an investing partner, would you consider becoming one? And as you're considering, go to my website at www.realtalkwithjudy and learn more information about becoming an investing partner of the Real Talk with Judy show. I want to say happy early Father's Day to all of the fathers who out there listening and who will listen to this. I want to say happy Father's Day to you. Thank you all. I know that you'll be tuning in just a minute. I'm always honored to have so many other fathers tuning in. And to everyone who's tuning in now on Facebook, thank you. I see some of you, Camille, I see Pam. I know she was going to be on here, and I'm sure Dr. Arnett will be on here in a few moments. I knew that beyond a shadow of a doubt. I got Dick Davis on here today. So ain't no telling, half of Tallahassee probably won't be on here in just a minute. I do have some amazing people on here today. And I am excited about my guests for so many different reasons. Today we're going to talk about sickle cell, but I'm excited because to me they are a power couple. They take pictures for magazines. They really do. They gotta do that. I'm posing for Essence and the Couple magazine. I don't know what the name of it is. They be posing. They ready for their own
I receive it.
I know it's
Right,
I'm telling you, y'all are
I'm letting it penetrate.
I'm letting it penetrate. And some of the most beautiful pictures, and I'm like, wow. And I remember I asked my husband one time, do you think I need to get her size and you do that thing right there so we can pose? You know, some of the way that, I mean, it is absolutely fantastic. I am honored to have Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Kevin and Mrs. Micaiah Warren. What I tell you here is my power couple today as we discuss this very important conversation. Thank you, Kevin and Micaiah, for being here with me today.
Thank you for having us.
Right,
Always a pleasure.
Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, and I was thinking today, my husband and I both are partners with them.
Yeah.
And the village is everybody. And if y'all haven't sat down and talked with Kevin yet to get your dream, I mean, he would, when you finish talking with Kevin, they're not Dr. Moore. I didn't know
We call them right out.
call him that on that. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, mama, hey, daddy. You know, they have two amazing parents. I mean, absolutely fantastic. But and I thought about it this morning that my husband and I are partners. My husband sits on the board of director of the Sickle Cell 365, and I'm with the village. I am part of Life Center, the village, the Dream Builders Family Affairs is right under there with Kevin. And one of the things we're gonna have to bring him back because I'm not talking about kids.
See, I told you I'm just here to be her husband today. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm here to be Gerald's wife.
Okay, we like that.
So we here. So my audience got to hear a little bit about my guests before we get into, so you don't have to get into all of the success stuff yet, but tell them some other stuff about you, Micaiah, and then husband, I would like you to say something about you. Introduce yourself. So I'm presenting to some and introducing to you all Micaiah Warren and then her husband, Kevin Warren. Micaiah, tell the audience a little bit about you.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us. It's always a pleasure to talk to the infamous Dr. Judy. So all of Tallahassee knows this woman right here, but I am a Tallahassee native. This is home for me. So, but I am executive director of the Sickle Cell 365. We are newly organized. But I have battled sickle cell all of my life. And so outside of that, I've, had the pleasure and the ability to just kind of beat those odds that were kind of given to me at birth, So I own my own business. I have 4 children, which is a miracle in itself. We've been married for 13 years. I've been able to accomplish some amazing things on the other side of, what doctors said could never happen. And so I always love to share, what I've been able to accomplish, although I may not think it's so great, but it is, I have to take it for what it is. It definitely is a miracle because being diagnosed with sickle cell, you're dealt so much doom and gloom, but I have to give all glory to God because I've been able to see those things come to fruition. And my parents have prayed countless prayers, to see that. So that's just a little bit about me. I know we're going to get a little bit further into things, but husband.
I like it. I like that.
Yes. Let me get it right. Yes, honey. My name is Kevin Warren. I am her husband. Boom. Right now, I am a CEO of the Life Group and executive director of We Are All We Need. Both of those are just community service organizations. Dealing with people, dealing with the inner man, dealing with how people believe about themselves. First and foremost, I'm a father, right? I'm a husband, I'm a man of God, and ultimately I'm a provider. That's kind of one of the things that I take pride in. I try to provide what my wife needs, and especially in this topic, it's completely new to me. So I became a sickle cell expert in some kind of way. So all in all, I guess the main thing is I'm a husband, I'm a father. And everything else can kind of be wrapped inside of that. All of my other successes and all that other stuff comes because I'm a husband and a father.
Right.
Wow, that is awesome. And he's from Detroit.
Saginaw. See, I'm gonna tell you, see,
Oh,
Detroit
Saginaw.
people,
I'm sorry.
they get offended. Like Detroit people, if you're not from Detroit and you say I'm from Detroit, if you're from outside, they get offended. So I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. Right, I got one. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan. We're outside of Detroit. Right, outside of Detroit. But that's it, you know.
Oh,
You don't want no smoke with
Yeah,
you.
I don't want no problem with them people from Detroit. They thick down here too. I don't listen. I'm from Saginaw, Michigan.
Oh, my
Hey,
bad.
I claim it.
My bad. Kind of like when you say you from the bottom, you from West Palm.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, you're not
You're from the bottom. You're from West Palm. That's
Right.
not the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm thankful for y'all. Y'all, they have a tremendous story. I was just sharing with them. My husband dealt with sickle cell trait and thalassemia trait, and he did not know about it until I think my second year of marriage. And he had it all his life because he was telling me he's been in excruciating pain. He's from Lamo. He's been in excruciating pain. He dealt with the pain. They gave him Tylenol for the most part. And his father did not believe in boys not working, and they had a farm.
Oh.
And so even though he was in pain, he said, "Hey man, you take this, and you're a man. You get out here." So he worked a lot in pain, but the doctors didn't understand it. So he dealt with it. But that second year of our marriage, that man was balled up in excruciating pain, scared me out of my wits. Because number one, he's a strong man. You know, he's a man. And to see him balled up, it scared me. It really did. I'm like, oh Lord.
Yeah.
And he was crying. And my first thing was, why are you crying? You know, that's what I wanted. I want to know why he was crying. Why are you crying? Because I mean, we're just married. He could be sad already.
It's too soon.
That's still in the honeymoon phase.
You know, give me a few years. I'll make you cry, but not right now.
Right.
But, and he was balled up. And I didn't know what to do. When we went to the emergency room, the only thing, he told me it felt like a big 18-wheeler, several 18-wheelers on his body. And y'all know I had no idea how to get those trucks off of him, right? And I went to touch him, no. And I'm sitting there scared. I mean, I was really scared. I called Jesus as loud as I could, and I said, help me now. And he gave me a little help because we got him in the car and took him. When he got to the hospital, they didn't know what to do. They did not know what to do. And I think after maybe the 4th, 5th, or 6th trip, they diagnosed him with sickle cell trait. And and that was
scary. Those times like that, that's scary, right? When you don't know what to do and they're in pain, and I mean excruciating pain. Before we got married, it was a situation where we had like that where her parents were out of town, right? And she ended up going into crisis, not 1 but 2 days in a row. And I'm there, and I'm looking like, well, what do we do? I mean, we get into the hospital. She said they had a level 13 pain out of 10. You know, the scale. She said 13.
Yeah.
And I remember it was nobody there. I lost the Saginaw came out. This time they were taking 3-4 hours in the waiting room. And it was, thankfully they gotten better, but I mean, it was ridiculous. And I'm seeing people going past, and they're talking and they're walking through. I'm like, I go to listen, unless you want a problem at hand, you're gonna get my wife back or my girlfriend back and get some things going on. And you know, we had to fight a couple of times, really kind of fight for them a couple of times. But that was one of those situations where you sit back and you have no idea what to do. There's no clue what to do.
So Makai, tell us, I mean, how old were you and how did it all start?
So I was actually diagnosed at age 1. And at age 1. My mom, I had been having, I think she said it was maybe like a respiratory issue. She kind of knew that I just wasn't acting right as a baby. She had taken me to the doctor. The doctor told her to take me to the hospital, to the ER. And they had run some tests. From my understanding, my mama would probably correct me right here on live.
You know she will.
But they had, run some tests and just kind of chalked it up to a upper respiratory infection. Nothing serious. And she had actually started feeling ill. And she asked the nurse, they would get ready to send me home. She asked the nurse to hold me while she went to the restroom. And while the nurse was holding me, the nurse looked and said something is not right with this baby. And so they proceeded to run further tests. And that's how I found out well, my parents found out that I was, positive for sickle cell anemia.
So that was
Age
one.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. But one of the, I guess it's good that she caught it, that they were able to catch it early.
By the grace of God. And this is one of the things Sickle Cell 365 is fighting to change. It's now it's required that newborns are screened for sickle cell trait and sickle cell disease. But we're talking just a short 34 years ago, that was not happening. And even just recently, as last month in the state of Georgia, it was made a requirement for newborn screenings to happen. But not only have newborn screenings, but that you can't fight it. Because I mean, we have parents, these new age parents, they don't want newborns to be poked and prodded. They don't want the vaccinations and all of that. But now it's not an option. You have to have that screening as a newborn. So that's a great, advancement. But there's so much more to be educated about, especially in the healthcare field, because a lot of our healthcare workers are just not educated on what sickle cell is, and how to treat us when we're in need of critical care.
Yeah. My nephew passed 11 years ago due to sickle cell complications. One of the things that, he would get in those pains and scream and holler. And one of the things, in a few minutes, I wanted to tell the audience what sickle cell is. We have some who say they need, one girl, when I posted, she said she really want to know more about it because she don't understand it. And Black America, us African American, with 90% of us having sickle cell, and then we got West Africa, Latin American, Asia, all of those, India.
Yes.
So it's a disease that needs more research. My nephew would go in there and ask for oxycodone because he started learning what helped his pain.
Right.
Well, when he was younger, his pediatrician followed him until he passed. He stayed at that point. But when it came to Tallahassee, they tried to consider him as a drug addict or a drug addict wanted to just come in there for drugs, or he would have crisis back to back. And I'm sitting there watching him screaming and hollering in pain, and the eyes turning color, and he was a big guy. And they said, "We go in there, we're gonna give you some Tylenol codeine." He said, "It doesn't help."
Yeah, that's a big fight. Is the stigma that is attached to sickle cell patients. I see it. I mean, every time we go in, it was early. They would act like they're just there for drugs. And for me, it's they come out of me. Right? It's the underlying comments, right? It's the snarky comments. Yeah. It's that kind of, "Oh, I bet you want this," right? Or "I bet you want that," or "Oh, we've seen you again," right? Those types of things that are just completely uncalled for. And even if because a lot of sickle cell patients, or not a lot, sickle cell patients they battle drug addiction, right? Because of pain management, right? And the pharmaceuticals that they are forced to take. It's not just their fault, right? It's not just their fault. So the medical industry and the healthcare professionals, they have to be held accountable for educating themselves for proper bedside manner and educating themselves on pain management. They have to.
Yeah, they have to. We have Pastor Helena Barrington on here.
Hey, Pastor.
And Sean, we got a whole bunch of people on here who want to say hello. I know that Pastor Helena Barrington, it was she and Pastor Kenny, who brought my husband, not maybe just a few years ago, to some awareness because we would fly to conventions, and when he'd get there, he would eat or he would have to rest or something, but we didn't know that the altitude,
the pressure change.
We didn't know that. We didn't know that there was certain food. We didn't know a lot, but now that we're knowing, and I am so excited that you're doing the Sickle Cell 365 because we need to know more.
Yes.
And you're young, and we need to know. Tell us about some of your experiences with this. And Kevin, I'm sure, I did everything. My husband, I'm like, you don't have to lift anything. Oh, I can lift it? No, you won't. No,
that's right. Yeah, that's
and I told him, I know it's a man thing, man.
I know some men.
I said, but it doesn't matter, because I'll call some men to come and help me, because I kind of heavy like when we travel. And I'll call them to come get the luggage. You don't have to do that, you know, or live. You don't have to do that. I say, I do when I realize his arm hurt, but then his leg is hurt, or he's limping. I'm
when they don't tell you,
or
and you know, right? You know what you know, and they don't tell you because whatever reason on the inside, they don't tell you. So you look out for that.
So one thing, and I want to address that. So one thing with sickle cell warriors is what I like to call us, because patience is such a but sickle cell warriors, we have an innate just ability and kind of almost a need to fight. That's just what we know. So it's kind of like you go through years of, you know, suppressing pain. We don't want to be in the hospital just as much as y'all don't want to be there with us. So, you know, that warrior in us just always kicks in, and we got to do more. You know, we don't know when the next time we have, you know, to give it our all may be. So we give it our all every moment, even when we may be in pain. But the basis for what Sickle Cell 365 is doing is education, advocacy, awareness, and overall creating a better quality of life for those that are fighting sickle cell in our community. Because of the lack of education of our healthcare professionals, starting when they're in school. I was invited to speak to a class of nursing students. A friend of mine was teaching a class of nursing students at the time, and I discovered that there was all of a paragraph about sickle cell anemia in their textbook. And she said, you know, I'm inviting you in because their first experience with sickle cell should not be in an emergency situation. That is not giving them, that's not preparing them to take care of our sickle cell patients. And so when I had that experience, that turned on the light bulb. And, you know, we have been doing sickle celebration for years with Pastor Helena. And I called her and I said, hey, this is mind blowing. There's more to be done. And so, you know, that was how Sickle 365 was birthed. Just out of sheer need for education of our healthcare professionals. Because when we're in need and you don't know how to take care of us, that leaves us at a huge disadvantage.
That's right.
So that's what we're working to try to change.
Okay, and we're gonna need everybody. I see someone here, Brenda my sister from Carolina. She said she have 3 nephews that live with the sickle cell every day. By the grace of God, you know, they're making it. And sometimes when people don't understand the pain that you're in or what you're going through, and I really had no idea. You know, my nephew, I wasn't there. I was up here in Tallahassee when he was born, but just to watch him go through even the trait.
Yeah.
That's what my husband has.
Yes.
He has the trait of both sickle cell and thalassemia. You know I ain't got that right yet. What do you got?
Thalassemia.
Thalassemia. I can see Bennett McBride going now. You know, and my mom, they probably say, just don't say it anymore. Just don't say the word. Just don't say the word. You on the radio. Just don't say the word. Just don't. And see, and I want to say, see how brave I am to pronounce a word that I don't know how to say.
Yeah.
But you know what? I got people around me. Here we go. I have people around me who know how to pronounce the word. So here we go back to the Real Talk with Judy show. Sometimes you may not be able to do it, but always keep people around you who know how to do stuff.
Right.
You know, that's what you got to do, right? You got to keep people around you who know how to do it. You don't get embarrassed because you can't do it. You keep people around you who can say it. Say it.
Thalassemia.
Bam, there it is. And it make it work. Y'all saw how that worked? And also have some here now who can give us better thing. What exactly is sickle cell?
So sickle cell is an inherited blood disorder that causes your red blood cells to be shaped like half moons. So they're rigid, like a sickle. Exactly. And so we know that our red blood cells help to carry nutrients, oxygen. And so since ours are disformed, we don't get the advantage of having 100% oxygen on any given day. So our oxygen supply is shorted. And anywhere that blood flows, you can have a crisis. And a crisis is basically when those sickled cells become jammed and cause pain. And so you have pain in that area. Now you have a lack of oxygen, and then that begins to affect how your organs function as well. So a lot of sickle cell patients have experienced, organ failure. So it can cause a plethora of problems and complications. But that's kind of the short definition of sickle cell, if you will. But so it's so much more to, I could dig in. I could really dig in. But for the sake of time,
you can dig in a little bit. and I'm saying that because I really want the audience to understand how serious this is. Yeah. Because I don't think, even as African America or the ones this disease really affects, I don't think we really know enough. That's why I'm so excited. That's why I participated with Pastor Helena and I forgot her name. Who's over the Sickle Cell Foundation here in Tallahassee?
Miss Delma.
Miss Zelma. I mean, and she knows this stuff.
Yes.
I mean, they know it. Miss Zelma, she was a great help to my nephew. I had to call her, and I didn't know. I know what to do. And one of the things the medical fields need to be taught, and listen to what you said about the nursing school. This is a crisis. Yeah. This is important. This is painful. They shouldn't have to wait 5 hours when they go in there.
Or you shouldn't ask me, what can I do for you? Like, this should be known.
That's the thing that frustrates me is when you get in there, I always want to say, can you please give me 33% of your check that you're going to get for this visit? Because they asked me, well, I might as well put on a white coat and give me the permissions and I'll take care of my wife.
Yes.
Because when they say, well, what do you want us to do for you? Do you ask, if I came in with a broken arm, do I know how to fix it? Right. So it's you're right. It's the education. It's lack.
Indeed. And that also creates a strained relationship with your healthcare provider when you have to, out of your pain in your time of crisis, you have to now be strong again, muster up the words to tell them, okay, this is what I need, this, and that. But you're the physician, you're the nurse. I shouldn't have to do that. I'm coming to you for care, not the other way around. And so once again, the lack of education is critical. So when we're in pain, we need you to be knowledgeable, understanding. We need your bedside manner to be appropriate. We're not here. I don't like drugs. I don't like narcotics. I don't like the feeling. If I would pay money, whatever money I could, to not ever have to take it again. But since I have to, I'm depending on you to give me what I need for relief in a timely fashion and in a pleasant manner as well. So, and sickle cell warriors all over the world are dealing with this, all over the world. But mainly here in the U.S. is where we experience the lack of education. Other countries have advanced educational opportunities for their physicians and nurses, but we're lacking that here in the States. So, just expanding those opportunities while they're early on in their healthcare career. So those nursing students that are in school, the medical students, that are taking these preliminary courses, this needs to be something that's involved in their curriculum.
So, the question was asked, is there a number of sickle cell warriors here in the Big Bend area?
I'm sure there is a number. However, how accurate that number may be, I don't know. Just because all of our sickle cell patients aren't active, and then there's still some that are finding out, that they have sickle cell. We have, just like your husband didn't find out that he had sickle cell trait until he was older. We have some that are still in that generation that are still dealing with that pain, and they don't know, because back in that time, the screening was not required. So you still have quite a few older generation walking around here with pain, and they have no clue.
and our generation.
Yep.
Right. There's a lot of folks that are around our age, Gen X and millennial generation, that they didn't, we didn't necessarily get screens. I didn't know anyone with sickle cell at all until I met my wife.
So you met your wife.
Right. I never got a screen. So, we're on the church, so.
We met at the club. I ain't ashamed to tell
We
you.
met at the club.
I ain't ashamed. I am not ashamed.
Okay, I'm like, oh, so your husband wants us to think that he always been saved.
No.
That is not.
I know that one, but I was just wondering.
Yeah.
And Kevin, when you found out she had sickle cell and you stayed,
Yeah, I was.
you could love her, huh?
In fact, not only did he stay, he began to research.
Yeah.
And it aggravated the crap out of me because he would say, "Hey, I think we need to change this so and so about your diet." Like, nigga, you don't know. But he dove all the way in.
Yes.
Yeah, he dove all the way in, did the research, found out how he could better support me, how he could better, support my care, my healthcare providers, asked all the necessary questions.
I'm just giving thanks because all of these things were not natural
Okay.
for me. And one of the things that I love about Sickle Cell 365 is the plethora of wisdom and knowledge and education that is all wrapped into. Now, Pastor Helena, they'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Pastor Helena, I believe, is the eldest living sickle cell warrior here in the Big Bend area, right? Or maybe in the state, right? And I may jump out and say in the country, in the world, right? But what Pastor Helena has within her, the knowledge and the wisdom and education. And then when you pull in the medical professionals that not only sit on the board, but work with and consult with Sickle Cell 365. And then you have actual nurses who've led nursing programs, who've led, TMH nursing, right? That are sitting there to talk about when and where you can input educational opportunities and what needs to be taught. That really takes things to another level when you're able to really deal with not just a heart issue. We're not just talking about, hey, feel bad for us, right? We're a minority community, feel bad because it hurts.
Right.
We're saying, imagine swallowing glass and the emergency that you would have when somebody comes in after they've swallowed glass. She's saying your blood cells are sickled. Imagine where your blood travels, cutting yourself where you're inside. When she first told me what it felt like and what caused me to research this way, is she said it feels like somebody is stabbing me from the inside out and twisting the knife.
Wow.
On my bones.
Wow.
When I think of that, and you think that, so I started to research, it's torture of the human body in front of medical professionals who are ignorant of what to do. And that's unacceptable.
Wow, that is tough. And he hadn't explained that to me, about the knife.
Yeah.
Somebody stabbing me from the inside out and then twisting it with a jagged edge. That is pain. And then to add the truck on the top of it. Listen, y'all, this is real talk. So go ahead and tag and share because we want our community. We want the African American. We want those who this affect. We really want to get information. We want to educate people just in case you are walking around with pain and you keep going to the emergency room and no one is telling you what's wrong. They can't figure it out. They keep giving you the same pain medicine and keep going. That would happen to my older sister. She was going. No one told her about sickle cell. And my mom had all us tested for sickle cell, right? But then it come to find she has a trait that was later found out. But in the first going around, they didn't notice it. And then she started having problems with her legs. Wow. And then started having, sometimes she could barely walk or move, right? But then after her son was diagnosed, then they dug further into her. But sisters and brothers, let me tell you, let's get checked. Don't be afraid. Get the information. Find out what's going on. We're bringing this to your presence. So you have right here, you have Micaiah right here, her board, her staff, who they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they have been through this.
Experts.
And so they're experts in all realms. They've studied, they've been here.
Yes.
You know, so let's get this information out. What else? Because we got to get it out. Tell us some of your, because I want y'all to understand that part right there. We want to thank all of you all for tuning in. It is so important. You all are making Cedric Sykes said, I have sickle cell. This is great. You know?
Thank you for joining,
Thank you so
Cedric.
much, Cedric. And listen, keep battling.
Yes.
Keep being a warrior. Keep battling. Find your advocate.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things, one of the treatments that is very common when we go into crisis, one of the main things, the top three, oxygen, fluids, pain medication. And after that, in that order, and after that,
give the order again.
oxygen, fluids, pain medication.
Because a lot of the times, and I'll just tap in, a lot of the times they'll say they don't necessarily bring the pain meds right away.
Right.
But what they can do even before starting the IV is give oxygen. Right?
Yep.
Give
You
oxygen.
can sit in the waiting
ask
room
for
and
that.
get oxygen.
Get oxygen.
Do you usually have to ask for it?
You do.
Okay.
You do. Oftentimes, you have
9
to ask
times
for
out of 10, you will have to ask for
Okay.
it.
And I want you all to take good notes on this. Take good notes on this. So if you have sickle cell, or you know someone who has it, and they may go through a crisis, they're hurting. The first thing you ask for when you go to the emergency room is oxygen.
right away.
Because and I'm a witness, that pain med is not coming.
They can bring you oxygen in the waiting room. They can bring before they triage you. You just ask them for oxygen, and even if in your wait, you'll be getting your treatment.
Exactly. We're starting treatment with oxygen.
I love it.
And so after those three things, are given, and they have had an opportunity to draw your blood. Every time you go to the emergency room, they're going to draw your blood. They're going to run tests. And you'll most likely find that your hemoglobin is low. Your blood count is low. So after that, you may be required to have a blood transfusion so that your numbers can get back as close to normal. It won't ever be normal.
And with that, have your number. Understand what your running hemoglobin number is. Makai's typically runs around the 7.2. As long as it's over 7. Some doctors will come in and they'll freak out. Oh my God, your hemoglobin's at a 7.8. And we're like, oh, it's really good. But they'll actually want to transfuse you based on their ignorance. And so you just need to know what your blood levels are and talk with their hematologist to understand where they are comfortable transfusing you so you can advocate for yourself right off the bat.
And that's good, because that's what Pastor does. He keep his, he know his level, and they usually run about 7.5, 7.6.
Low 7.
Low 7, 7.2, 7.2. And I remember one time he did go to the emergency room. They wanted to give him a blood transfusion. And he was in pain. I'm like, hey, tell them that you don't need a blood transfusion. And he said, what did they say? I said, they said something about 7 point. He said, that's what it run. But the nurse got, well, I know, I said, sweetheart, I'm telling you.
Sweetheart.
Try to be nice. I try. Yeah. I'm like, he does not need a blood transfusion. Well, when the doctor come back, I'm going to talk to the doctor. In the meantime, you give him everything except what he's requiring of that blood transfusion. And if he's scared, come and get him right away. And so she was out there, and I saw him talking to the desk.
All the time. They know me at the
And see, that's the importance of advocacy. What about those that don't have a Dr. Judy or don't have a Kevin to go along with them to the emergency room? And so, what happens to those warriors that go to the emergency room by themselves, and you're completely reliant on these healthcare professionals to give you what you need? It can be a difficult task when you don't have that advocacy piece. But going back to the blood transfusions, that is sometimes our first, a defense. That is most times is what helps us feel better, gets our energy back. And so blood transfusions is high on the list of requirements for us. Some of us have to go every month to get a blood transfusion. Some of us have to go quarterly. At one point, I was going every 3 months to get a blood transfusion. It was scheduled like clockwork.
Okay.
But because we're starting to, some of us may be experiencing iron overload from getting too much blood, doctors have kind of slowed that down. But blood is needed. And so since the pandemic, our blood supply is low. And so I'm mentioning that because that's one of the first events that we have coming up at the end of the week. We actually have a 3-day blood drive Blitz happening. 3 opportunities this week, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week.
And Saturday is June.
All, yes. Perfect opportunity on Juneteenth to get involved with your community, affect change in your community. I say this all the time, you may not have the money to give, but everybody has blood to donate. And if you cannot donate for some kind of medical reason, we'll take your money too. But this is just an opportunity to get our community engaged and involved. So this is going to be educational opportunity on the 19th, but we're giving you 3 days to give blood because, like I said, our local supply has just been depleted, throughout the pandemic. And so this particular blood drive is dedicated to sickle cell, and will go to sickle cell patients that need this blood. So if you can, join us Thursday. Thursday, June 17th will be at the Red Cross on Easterwood Drive, right here in Tallahassee, Florida, on the 18th, Friday the 18th. It's going to be at this Village. On Thursday, it's going to be 9 a.m. Y'all see how he's trying to keep me in check. I love it. Thursday is 9, I believe it's 10 to 3 on Thursday. Friday is 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at this Village, which is where Kevin Nine's office is located at the Life Center. And then Saturday is right back at the Red Cross on Easterwood Drive.
Okay. So will they screen the blood, or how do they give it? I know I can't give it, but how do?
So actually, you will actually be screened for. They're doing sickle cell trait screenings as well. So whether there's a questionnaire that when you go and register, do you have the prerequisites?
Right. Okay.
So it's encouraged that you do that pre-registration. So, we're not wasting your time, we're not wasting our time, but also we can get your commitment, we can get your commitment.
Is it the blood bus, or how do they?
No, it's not a bus. So we will actually have a staff of about 5 phlebotomists that are going to be individually drawing blood for you to donate.
So it's COVID safe.
COVID safe.
It's not on
Yep, you'll have your own private bay where you're able to donate, and everyone that donates is going to get an Amazon e-gift card. We're going to be doing giveaway drawings for our donors because we definitely appreciate the effort that it's taking you to come and donate, but we definitely are encouraging our community to come out and donate. And I don't know what it is about the African American community. We're scared to donate blood. We're scared to get poked. We're scared to get poked, but we need. But since this is a disease that affects our community, when we're matched and screened for blood transfusions, they try to find blood that has closely matching DNA. So a lot of times what happens is we don't have it because we're not giving, we're not donating. So I'm encouraging us, my people, come on out, register, pre-register on the link on the flyer, and let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah, and if you can do it, come on and do it. You just realize you're helping someone.
Yeah.
You're going to help someone's life feel better. You're going to help give them a more life, more energy. And when it comes time for them to need it, it's there. Yeah. So it's better to have and not need than to need and not have.
There it is.
And so you have also, of course, we want us, especially on Juneteenth, if you support Black people support Black people, come out and give your blood. But if your blood is red, we'll take it.
Indeed.
If it's red. So just no matter what your skin color is, if the blood is red, as long as it's red and healthy, we'll take it.
I was just about to go back with you. Robin, if you're trying to call in, you can give us a call at 850-671-1450. Anybody, matter of fact, we have about 10 minutes and you can call in 671, that's 850-671-1450. I know I'm getting a lot of calls on my phone, but if you want to talk to me now, you can call 850-671-1450.
And we have a few questions, Pastor Judy.
Okay, let's get to the question. Ask the question, Priscilla. Ask the question.
All right. Somebody wants to know, how can they donate to this?
How can you donate monetarily with blood? The blood donations, you can pre-register at redcrossblood.org. Or if you would like to make a donation, you can visit www.sickle365.com, and you can find the links to donate there.
Yeah. So all of the things that she just previously said is how you can donate. I know that.
We have another question that says, can we talk about health insurance providers and life insurance, which covers the disease?
Ooh,
Oh,
that'll be a whole other hour.
But life insurance, it is very difficult. Barack Obama was able to, with the pre-existing condition clause, qualify many of the sickle cell patients to receive life insurance. But we're not life insurance professionals. But what we will encourage is that you do find yourself a life insurance professional to ask, because things are currently and consistently changing.
Good afternoon, caller. Thank you for calling me with Real Talk with Judy show. Hey, Cedric. We're doing great, and thank you for listening to the show. Thank you.
So my problem is I work for the center, and I apply for life insurance through our provider, and I've been denied midlife at my apply because of my symptoms.
So I would recommend you talk to someone in the life insurance professional. And I know we have a couple that we know. If you can reach out to us on Facebook, we can give you a couple that we know professionally that will be able to try to help. I know Kevin Gomez is one that we tag you to reach out to as a life insurance professional. They'll know exactly what to do, how to fight, because the pre-existing condition clause was broken forward. Barack Obama changed that, so there is some stipulations around it, but it is a lot of work to get to it. But it is possible to be insured. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Cedric.
And thank you so very much for calling in, Cedric. We greatly appreciate it. And thank you for listening. Hello, caller. Thank you for calling you with Real Talk with Judy show. Hello. You're on the air.
Hello, this is Sam on board.
Hey, Mama.
I just want to just say, I'm sure that most of the persons that are watching this right now are adults, and I just want to stress the importance of parents really getting to know all they know about.
Absolutely.
That was important. When you took over the reins of the care of my daughter, and she did so wonderfully. That the night was able to drive and get through a lot of life. Some of us was not. Okay. It's just accept what was given by the doctor.
Right. Absolutely.
I thank you for saying that, Mom, because it's so important. One of the things that keeps me in that fight, and Makai will tell you, there's times now you're tired, right? I mean, sickle cell crisis will hit you after you thought that you were about to go to bed, and now it's time to go to the hospital, right? Whatever you thought you were going to do hurt, you got to change. And you may not have eaten, right? And you may be tired, but you have to be present. You have to be present, right? I mean, there's times like when I try to go to sleep in the ER, I pulled the chairs next to the bed that on the side of her IV. Okay. So if they want to get to it, they have to wake me up.
Okay.
Right. So you have to know there's so many things, like you said, and you have to be willing to fight. And for those of you who are, and Pastor, you understand this, our part and our responsibility while they're fighting for their life is to fight for their peace, right? And to fight for their protection. And so we have to be present in those moments, knowledgeable and ready to go to work. I've gotten kicked out of the hospital before. I'm not ashamed, right? And I'll do it again, no question.
Yeah, you're right. And staying in that hospital, my husband was in there 13 days one time, and I pulled that bed all the way out. I had them to get me a bed because I thought I'm not going anywhere. The lady said, "Well, we need to get here." And me too. I'm not planning no hammer but one husband. That's my plan.
You need to get here. I'm going to stay.
I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. You know, and I put the bed there. But this is absolutely fantastic. They're fighting for their life. I like that. And we're fighting for their peace.
Yeah.
And
she taught me so much. I mean, because I used to flip out. And then she said to me one thing that changed me. And she said, "Babe, when you leave, they still have to take care of
you.
me."
Still got to take care of me. Wow, Mama Pamela, thank you so very much for coming on. And that is absolutely fantastic. And y'all, everybody who's listening, we have the knowledge right here. So just call, get in contact with everybody. So thank you so very much for calling, Mama Pamela. Carla, you're on the air, Pastor Judy.
Hi, Pastor Judy. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you today? Yes, thank you, ma'am. Oh, that's right. Ooh. Right. Would you, so Cedric, would you put your, are you on, what's your number? And we can have that put in the chat and Cedric can give you a call. 8. 591. 7563.
And the name is Val, V-A-L, last name is Grisham,
Thank you so very much. And so Cedric and those who need life insurance, go ahead and call her. Okay, so go ahead and call. That was Val Grissom, 850-591-1563. She give you sickle cell. Carla, thank you for calling. You're calling the Real Talk with Judy show.
Yes, this is Gail Lee. I'm calling because I'm so grateful that Natalia brought up that truth about the nursing program not teaching this. Because several, you can't teach everything. You know, and they teach out the things that, you know, sometimes you just sickle cells that clump into a whole lot of blood.
Wow.
So we don't spend enough time on something that is so prevalent in this world. You know, and so that is something that on our side, the nursing side, we're going to have to fix that in our nursing.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And I can't wait to work with you on. That's my Aunt Gil, y'all. She was head of IV Tech at TMH for years, and that's my guy. That's my Aunt Gil. So
I love it, and so we know that even with you advocating for that, and we're going to get things moving. We are excited about what's going to happen with sickle cell, at least in this Big Bend area.
indeed.
And then hopefully it will spread furthermore. Hopefully it would go out more because we want this disease to be handled and researched more. It should have been researched.
That's a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah, but
Better late than never.
Yeah.
Better now than never.
Yeah,
better now than.
And better now than now. And so now we can get it done. And so thank you so very much, Dr. Gail, for calling. We greatly appreciate it. So to everybody, we are so thankful. We are so thankful that you all are listening, that you all are participating. And we want to, would you all please tag and share this on your page? Share this show on your page so we can do it. But Mama Pamela said, if we don't do it, who will?
If we don't do it now, when?
And we don't do it now, when? And so, y'all, we got to save people's lives. We got to get educated. The scripture said, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
There it is.
And sometimes we don't know. My goddaughter was talking to me the other day, and her mama pulled out a couple $1,000 that she had hidden in a book. Her daughter hid money in a book. And both of them are good readers, but they hid that money in the book. Okay, so we really want you all to Carl, we're getting ready to go, but just give some last minute information about this and about sickle cell, about Saturday, and we got 1 minute.
Awesome. Well, I just thank you all so much for joining and being attentive and just, taking this information and running with it. I love that we have had callers that have, provided their expertise, their knowledge, their information to help move this needle forward. And I've been saying that since we, since LaShawn and I have started talking about Sickle Cell 365. It's just something that has to be done to push this needle forward for awareness, education, and advocacy for my people, for something that I live with in a community that I live in. So I'm looking forward to connecting with those that are interested in helping to move that needle. So you all come out Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, we'll hear from our own mayor of Tallahassee, our county commissioners. They're standing behind Sickle Cell 365. So don't let them be the only ones there. Y'all come and show up and become an ally for sickle cell awareness and education here in our community.
I love it. Kevin?
I'm her husband. Make sure you support. Now, I just said 30 seconds on some things that are important this summer to make sure you stay healthy, especially if you are a warrior, and those who are protectors of their warriors. Give some things that you need to know. Make sure that your person is drinking a lot of water, right? Just not juices, but a lot of water. Make sure that they're staying hydrated. Stress is a huge factor. I know we don't think about it, and I know it's something that in the Black community we normalize, but stress will trigger sickle cell crises and overexertion. I know we sickle cell warriors want to do everything. Sometimes you just got to tell them, not today.
Not
Sit
today.
there. So,
Kevin and Micaiah, thank you all so very much for being here with me today on the Real Talk with Judy show. To all of the listeners on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and the radio, thank you all so very much, and for all the valuable information. Y'all, we're looking to do something about this. We're gonna make a difference.
We are.
We're gonna make a difference, and you are very important in this difference maker. Let me make sure I give you the correct number for Val. It is 850-591-7563. 850-591-7563. You need health insurance, call her for sickle cell, call her for any insurance. But I think she called herself the insurance lady.
can I throw out there, because there's a lot of folks out there, I want to also throw out Sherwood Brown. He's the local guy that really helped our family kind of with that as well. And his number is 850-264-4752. So Val, Sherwood, y'all gonna have a lot of folks coming to you. So we appreciate
That's what it's about.
I tell you, and you're coming from the Real Talk with Judy show. Listen, thank y'all for tuning in. It has been a plum pleasing pleasure to serve you today from the Real Talk with Judy show. I am Dr. Judy. Keep looking, because I'm also on the move. God bless you.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk